Welcome to the first ever virtual European Hardware Awards ceremony.
Unfortunately, we are not in Taipei this year because of the known reasons.
But we're taking you to the city where the European Hardware Association was originally founded, the lovely and sunny Amsterdam.
We have two main topics today. Of course, everybody's anxious to know about the 42 award winners that we are announcing today. But as well, we have done a survey in the last weeks, like we always do, pan-European wide, and we'll tell you about the buying behavior of our readers as well.
The European Hardware Association consists of 9 of the most influential hardware technology publications throughout the region. Together we have more than 100 dedicated technology journalists, and they have performed more than 1 million product tests over the last couple of decades. We have published over 370,000 technology articles, and our combined audience is more than 20 million people throughout Europe. And they are the true hardware enthusiasts. They are the early adopters, they are the influencers.
The websites from the European Hardware Association consists of Hardware Info in the Netherlands, Hardware Looks in Germany, Kit Guru from UK, we have Cowcotland from France, we have Geeknetic from Spain, Hardware Upgrade from Italy, we have Pure PC from Poland, Lab 501 from Romania, and our newest member we are happy to announce today is IoTech from Finland.
So before we go to the awards, as promised, we're going to take a look at the results of our latest survey. As every year, we survey tens of thousands of people on their buying plans for the next year, only to figure out which hardware products and which consumer electronics are they willing to buy and why. We're going to take a look at the main results of this survey.
Yeah, the first question from our survey is always, what does our audience love most? We are asking our readers about their preferences, and they are always looking for the next-gen graphics, for the next-gen CPU generation.
Other subjects that we see with high scores are new monitor technologies and gigabit Wi-Fi. There's also a couple of subjects that our readers are not so enthusiastic about. The market was hoping that cloud gaming would take off in 2020, but the interest in this subject is not really high. And also coin mining and blockchain, we see it really at the bottom end of our graph.
As well, we were asking our readers about their buying behavior, how much they will spend in 2020. And interestingly, 56% of our readers want to spend more than 1,000 euro in this year for IT hardware. That's an insane amount of money if you compare it to our 20 million readers. As well, we made the comparison to last year, and even if we have a corona crisis this year, the numbers are higher than in 2019.
So what is it that our readers are planning to purchase in the next 12 months? We've broken this down into categories for you. First, we're going to take a look at components. The kind of components that most people say they're planning to purchase are motherboards, CPUs, memory, graphics cards and SSDs.
On the peripheral side, we see a high interest in external storage, in smartphones, in monitors, in mice and in headsets. Not so interesting is buying complete PCs. The people want to build their PCs by themselves. And on the peripheral side, they are not so interested in tablets, in NAS, in VR headsets and in printers.
Next question, which CPU platform are our readers using for their main PC? We really see the market share of AMD growing in this question for the last couple of years. And this year, the highest scoring category is actually AMD's 3rd gen Ryzen processors, which were only introduced last year. We really see AMD's market share growing if we look at the year-on-year differences in numbers. In 2017, AMD had a market share of about 15% with our readers. For this year, 2020, almost 40% of readers say they're using an AMD CPU in their main machine.
Now we know what's inside the PCs of our readers, but of course we want to know what they will buy next. So we asked our readers about the combination which they are planning to buy, and interestingly you see AMD and Nvidia in the lead. Nvidia seems to be very strong in the VGA market, and we see AMD being strong, so that combination is leading. But of course, there's also an amount of people who want to buy AMD CPU and an AMD platform. If you see the year-to-year changes, we see combinations with NVIDIA and AMD growing. On the other side, the combination of Intel and AMD is losing.
We've asked numerous detailed questions on purchase decisions, and unfortunately we cannot show all the results to you in this short video. If you want to see all the details, please reach out to your EHA representative and we can supply you with the full report. What we are going to do is take a look at some of the most interesting results.
At first we are seeing a move back from ATX desktop to notebooks, while we saw a trend going back to the desktop in the past years. As well, people are more interested in air cooling and in liquid cooling, but liquid cooling seems to win the match. Over 50% of our readers are into liquid cooling. In the SSD market, we see the prices going down and the capacities getting more attractive that are 2 or 4 terabyte. So more people are planning to buy higher capacities in the next years. The smaller SSDs, 256 gigabytes or 512, are not so interesting anymore.
And how about power supplies? We've asked our readers what capacity will you choose for your next power supply. And 650 watts and 750 watts will be the most popular categories for the next year. A new product category that was launched a couple of years ago is gaming furniture. Gaming chairs, gaming beanbags, and those kind of products. We really saw demands for these kind of products surge over the last couple of years, but in the 2020 survey, we see that the demand is stabilizing. There's still a lot of interest in it, but it's not growing anymore. Another question we ask to our readers every single year: what do you think about gaming on a laptop? A couple of years ago, the majority of the people said, I cannot envision myself gaming on a laptop. You can only do proper gaming on a desktop PC. And the number of people that give that answer is declining rapidly. You see a big difference from last year to this year. Gaming laptops are clearly gaining momentum.
For RGB, in the past years we saw it as a trend topic. Now we have more and more readers who say that products without RGB are getting more attractive for them.
And how will people connect their gaming PC to the internet? We still see that most people choose for the wired option, gigabit. A couple of more highlights from the survey. We asked people, audio on your PC, how do you listen to it? And we see that more than 50% of our users use a headset or a headphone. Demand for external speakers on PCs is clearly decreasing over the last couple of years.
For the VGA card, we see that still the in-game performance is the key to sell your VGA card. On the other hand, the cooling performance is very important, which goes hand in hand with the noise level of a VGA card. On the not so important side, we see that actually the looks of a VGA card is not so important anymore, which goes hand in hand with our RGB question.
We ask a similar question about monitors, and for this question we are showing you the year-on-year results. What we see in this year's survey compared to last year is that people are putting more interest in the panel type, in the fact that a monitor supports AMD FreeSync, and the fact that monitors are really big, 30 inches or bigger. A couple of things are not that important when people are choosing a new monitor. Interesting to see is that the new 240 Hz and 260 Hz monitors aren't that popular with our readers. Maybe because they're still too expensive. And just like with the graphics card, we see that people don't care too much about the looks of a monitor. Its specifications, its performance are way more important.
For the last question, of course, we always ask where our readers get the information from. And we are happy that websites like the EHA is the main source for most of our readers. So they're into our reviews and into our videos. As well, they're seeking their information in online stores, in reviews there, in discussion forums and on social media. Not so important anymore seems to be the people in the stores itself, and of course also celebrities.
So that was it, the highlights of the Pan-European Hardware Purchasing Decisions Survey 2020. Now it's time for the main thing for today, the winners of the European Hardware Awards 2020. So let's hop on our typical Dutch bikes and find out what are the best products of this year. Let's go! Let's see if we can find the winners throughout Amsterdam. But first, how does it work? The European Hardware Awards are presented in 42 categories. For all categories, the editors specialized in the specific categories for all 9 websites could forward up to 5 nominations. All products that were suggested by at least 2 websites or were given a wildcard by one of the editors made it to the list of finalists. In a second round, the editors of the AHA websites cast their votes by giving scores to all products that made it to the list of finalists. The products with the highest total scores win the award.
We hope you enjoyed our small ride through Amsterdam and seeing the winners of the European Hardware Awards 2020.
If you are one of the winners, keep a close eye on your email and your phone, because we will reach out to you as soon as possible and we will make sure you receive your physical award on your desk ASAP. Thanks again for watching the virtual European Hardware Awards 2020. We hope to see you again in person next year in 2021. Thank you.
See you.